On March 11th, President Biden signed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, one of the largest stimulus bills in history. The package attempts to provide relief to constituents impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, Epstein, Becker Green's David Garland and Gretchen Harders are here with Grace Melton, a partner at Deloitte Tax, to tell us more about how the American Rescue Plan will change things for employers.
And so, Grace, I'd like to start with you and to ask you to walk us through some of the main compensation areas of the Act.
Thank you, David. So the American Rescue Plan Act contained a number of different tax provisions that were important for employers of various sizes. So the first item that we'll start with is the employee retention credit. And this has been a meaningful credit, a payroll tax credit for many employers since March 27 of 2020. And that was the date that the CARES Act was enacted and this was signed into law. And basically what it provides for is it allows a payroll credit for employers who have suffered an economic hardship because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Basically, it allows a credit for employers who are continuing to pay their employees for not providing services during this time of economic hardship. The American Rescue Plan Act basically codified and further extended and expanded the credit. It extended it through December 31, 2021. It retained this more beneficial credit limit that is applicable at this point. It also added 2 new categories for employers, those who are considered recovery startup businesses and also severely financially distressed employers.
So, Grace, does eligibility for the employee retention credit limit eligibility for other types of subsidies under the American Rescue Plan Act, such as the Cobra Subsidy?
There are various mechanisms in place where you basically can't count wages of different types for the same benefit. And so that would be one of those items where you can't count the same items. The same is true for instance, where you had a PPP loan and you had forgiveness, you can't count the same wages as creditable as those amounts that were forgiven under the PPP loan as well.
So, Gretchen, let's turn to another key provision that you've already referred to, and that specifically deals with requiring employers to cover 100% of the Cobra continuation premium. What are the specific provisions in the Act, and what guidance have we received since the legislation passed in March?
What the American Rescue Plan Act provides, as you mentioned, David, that there is going to be, employers are going to be required to provide on a tax-free basis a subsidy to employees and their qualified beneficiaries to pay 100% of the Cobra continuation premiums for group health plan coverage. This includes the employer cost as well as the employee costs. So what does this mean? It means that plan administrators under the statute, they have to go out and notify all assistance eligible individuals of the right to take advantage of this Cobra subsidy. And it's within 60 days of April 1, which is the deadline, May 31st, 2021. And so employers have to go out with this special election opportunity that allows employees to make a Cobra election for the period beginning April 1. Without requiring retroactive premium payments. So everyone who was involuntarily terminated either during this period or within the past 18 months should be getting this notice by May 31st. And even if they didn't elect Cobra, but they're otherwise eligible, they can elect the Cobra subsidy. Now, the Cobra subsidy, the employer generally has to fund. If it's a multi-employer plan, it's the multi-employer plan funding. And then for some fully insured small plans under state law, it may be the insurance company. But basically, the employer that funds it will get a subsidy through payroll tax credits on their quarterly Medicare taxes. So the employer has to basically subsidize, but on their quarterly 941 forms, they can then qualify for the Medicare taxes.
Thanks, Gretchen, Grace, and David, for that excellent conversation on how employers will be impacted by the American Rescue Plan. You can listen to an extended podcast of this conversation at employmentlawthisweek.com or on your preferred podcast platform. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.